Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about Brood Chamber, the mini boss, and the last boss. So I'm talking about the mini boss mainly because for the people that are going to do hard mode, it's kind of important to know how to do the mechs because you can't just burst the boss down. However, if you're doing normal mode, as long as your party has around 200k DPS on average, you can just burn it down relatively easy. So over here you can see the Brood Glutton is standing in the middle of the map and it has 4 CC bars. So later on in the phase, his CC bars are going to open and you're going to need to stun him. If you don't stun him, he'll do a suction attack and it'll suck everyone in just like the harpy, and it will mess up the mechanics if you are doing hard mode. However, on normal mode, as I said before, you can just DPS it down. So let's roll the video. So you're going to DPS, pew 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 pew. And on normal mode, you're just going to try to kill it before anything happens. But as you can see here, it says the Brood Glutton conjures forth brood eggs. And you're going to see there's 3 sets of eggs that's going to spawn. These 3 sets of eggs are usually random. They can spawn either 2 on one side and 1 on this side, or they can do it the other way around. So it could be 2 on this side and 1 on this side. However, it's always going to be in this sort of pattern. And so the 3 furthest targets are going to get a red circle. As you can see around me here, I have a red circle. And this red circle means that I can destroy these eggs. However, I need to be standing on the eggs to make sure that the explosion will hit all of the eggs. So this explosion in normal mode doesn't hurt too much. It does around 100 to 120k damage. However, on hard mode, this will kill you. So on hard mode, you want to make sure you stand on top of the eggs. The moment it locks in place, you need to SS or you need to run out of this circle. So you're going to see that now. His CC bars are going to open momentarily. You can see here, it's slowly charging up the explosion. You'll see this charge up. It's slow. Once it touches the edge over here, it's going to explode. So in hard mode, you're going to wait for it to charge up. The moment it charges up around like at this corner over here, then you want to get ready for your SS or your movement skill. Another thing is you're going to notice right here his CC bars has opened. So this is the part where you need to stun the boss. If you don't stun the boss, it'll suck you in and it'll mess up the mechanic and it will cause a wipe. So here we go. Boom, 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 boom. We stun the boss. You see now it charges up and I get out just in time. And that is it for the mini boss. So on the mini boss, you will need to do it around 2 to 3 rotations if you're playing on hard mode. On normal mode, you just DPS it down just like what I did in the video. So next up is the guy that you've all been waiting for, the last boss. So I'm just going to roll the clip. I'm just going to explain as things happen because I feel like that's just easier for this boss. This boss is a lot easier than the first boss, as the first boss is a lot more mech heavy. So let me just roll the clip and I'll sort of explain what we're doing because it doesn't require too many mechs, to be honest. So at the very beginning, you're just going to DPS the boss and burst him down. However, just keep in mind that you will need to stun the boss at some point. So just keep that in mind and get ready for that. Or DPSing, this red AoE attack that he does, you can either iframe it or you can just face tank it. It's basically what it's going to do is it's going to suck you in. The moment you get sucked in, just F-roll immediately out and you'll iframe his ring attack. Because the thing that does damage is the second ring. The suction, which he does, doesn't do any damage. However, you need to iframe it. So by doing F-roll or using your tab escape, you automatically iframe the second hit. So you can do that, or you can just use your 5-second iframe right here and you'll be perfectly fine. So you'll see there, I get sucked in, I F-roll, and I take no damage. You're just DPSing. So the tank wants to stand at this spot all the time, so the boss is facing this egg. There's a very specific reason why you want the boss to be facing this egg. This is the 6 o'clock position. If you look at the map, it's right here. This is the eggs like right here at the 6 o'clock position. So the tank wants to make sure that the boss is looking at the 6 o'clock position at all times. The main reason why is because the farm mark, later on you're going to see that there's a farm mark, he's going to stand behind this egg. And when he's standing behind this egg, it'll make sure that the boss targets that egg and targets all the damage onto this side of the map so that the DPS party, who is standing where I am, will not get hit and will not take any damage. So let's continue. And hit. So right now it says He siphons dark energy from the brood eggs. If you have a deep wound here, this is the time where you need to deep wound, because what's going to happen is one of these eggs are going to shoot this green blob over, and he's going to absorb it and it's going to heal him. I don't know how to stop this, but we just deep wound it and it prevents him from healing. Even in hard mode, we just deep wound and prevent him from healing. However, I don't know how to stop this mechanic. We tried blocking it, but apparently it's really gimmicky. So do let me know in the comments below if you know how to stop the healing phase consistently. But basically, I just deep wound over here, so you'll see that I have applied my deep wound by using my cat C skill, or my hammer skill, or my single daze, and that will deep wound it, and it will prevent him from healing. You'll see here, boop, you see this green orb is going to fly into the boss, but because he has deep wound, he's not going to heal much. You can see he's 74%, and it's going to hit him, and boom, nothing happens. So we continue to DPS. Now he's going to do a suction attack again, and we're going to F-roll, and then same thing, no problem, no damage taken. Now is phase. When phase happens, the boss is going to jump into the air and land into the middle. When he lands in the middle, he's going to cause a shockwave. You need to jump over the shockwave. You don't have to, but it's advised that you do, because you'll get pushed back like me, I'm just a noob. So you're going to notice that the moment you get knocked back over here, you get this debuff over here. You get this 28-second debuff, and you get these red glowy things around you. Don't worry about it. You're going to wait until he does a second suction attack. So just ignore it and just make sure that you don't jump. Just hold on to this buff and you'll be fine. Another thing you'll also notice is that the boss has set his sights on someone. When this text comes out, he's always going to set his sights on the furthest target. You're going to see over there that Husei's already standing where the egg is, because Husei's a gunner, he's super mobile, so you can get right to the egg. So as being the furthest target, he's going to be the mark. So just make sure, if you are not doing mechanics, or if you're not doing the mark roll, not to be the furthest person. You're going to see that. He's going to target the furthest person, and right after that, he's going to do another suction attack. When he does his second suction attack, you're going to notice that you have an extra buff now. You have this golden shield for 44 seconds, and you'll also notice that there's a golden bubble around you. This is when you know that you can jump. However, make sure to stay away from your teammates, because the moment you jump into the air, you're going to do a pretty big AoE around you, and if any of your teammates are caught within this AoE, they will get drunk. And they won't be able to control their character. It'll just kind of wander around and be really, really dumb. It's kind of funny, but yeah, you don't want to screw your teammates over that bad, or else you might mess up the dungeon and you might not be able to clear. So you want to stand away, and you can see there, the moment that I jumped, I caused that ring. You saw over there that Nopix jumped, he caused a ring, and you can see over here that Ale, when he jumped, he caused a ring. However, you can notice here that my ring over here, my red ring over here, clipped Ale over here. So you'll see that Ale is now drunk, and we're going to see that in the video, and he's just going to kind of wander around and do nothing. You'll see there. And in the meanwhile, the boss is going to jump in place 3 times and cause 3 shockwaves, which you need to jump over. Again, you don't have to, but it's advised that you do. You see that 1, 2, 3. And right after that, it's going to say that he sends dark tumors throughout the chamber. So when it says this, he's going to be targeting the furthest mark. So again, the person who has the mark needs to be standing behind the egg, so the boss targets everything on that side of the map, so it doesn't hit our DPS party. So you're going to see now he does his room-wide attack. You can see, because the far mark was over here behind this egg, it's going to do this half map attack over here, and it's going to hit that side. Now that is done, now that attack is done, you'll see that Husei has popped out of the egg, and he's running towards us now, because it is now the pushing phase, which is pretty fun actually. Just make sure that if you are standing behind the egg, if you are the far mark, to face the wall. You have to face the wall in order to not take damage from his roar. If you face this direction, if you're facing the boss, there is a very high chance that you do take damage from his roar. I don't know why, but it just works like that, because when I was doing Mark, every time I faced the boss, I took damage, and you take a lot of damage. And so I just had to face the wall, and I just kind of had to ask my team. It was like, oh, what's going on? Can I move now? Are we good? And yeah, it's just communication. So you're going to see here that Hyusei is going to run towards the boss because the pushing phase is about to start. He's going to do a roar attack, which we're going to party stealth, and then the pushing phase will begin. So let me just show you that. And boom, we party stealth it, and now we're waiting. And here, this is when the pushing phase begins. You might be a little bit overwhelmed with all the shiny lights with red and gold and stuff, but the basis of this is basically the boss is gonna go into a defensive curl position, and then we're gonna have to push him to this egg over here. However, we want to avoid the red circles and we want to hit the gold circles. So you're gonna see that now. Once he goes into this position, he's going to go into the fetal position. There you go. And we're going to have to push him all the way to the egg over there. However, we want to avoid the dark circles. These dark circles we want to avoid, because if we hit him into these dark circles, he'll get rooted and we won't be able to push him. So where we have to push him is into these gold circles, because these gold circles deal damage to him. So the way that we usually do it is we push upwards to here, then we push him to the left to there, and then we push him there like that. So the way to push the boss forward is you have to stand behind him and attack him in the direction you want him to move. So you'll see that we're all standing here and we're all attacking this way. That way the boss is going to move that direction, and then we're going to stand over here and we're going to push the boss that direction. Then we're going to stand here and push the boss that direction. So you're going to see that happen. And also the mark, or the person that stood behind the egg, Hyusei, in this video example, is the person that contributes the most. So every time he hits the boss is going to move a lot more compared to when we hit the boss. So just keep that in mind. Usually you want the mark to have either very low ping or have very fast attack speed. Like if you have it on a summoner, especially on an earth summoner, because most of our skills are AoE, we can only use left mouse button, which is kind of slow. So you don't really want to have a summoner doing the mark. You want someone who can attack fast. So I recommend like gunners or force masters, stuff like that. So we're going to see that now. You can see that we're pushing the boss just by standing. So now the boss has moved to the first location. We're going to stand over here and we're going to push that way so that it'll hit this gold circle and this gold circle and avoid the red circles over here. So we're going to see that now. We're going to move, attack, 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 attack. We're going to move again, attack, 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 attack. So the moment the boss gets to the egg, it'll say the brute eggs have drained dark energy from the boss and has inflicted damage. So right after this, the boss is going to do an AoE instant kill move, so you have to get out of this circle that he's going to cast very soon. So if you are a low mobility character like a summoner, I do recommend standing further back, like around here. You're going to see that I'm going to die because I'm standing like right here, right in front of the boss, and I won't have enough time to get out. You can see here that this AoE is rather big. You'll see that it's that big over there. And yeah, watch me die. I don't reach the edge of the circle in time and I will get blown up. And boom, you see I died. And keep in mind your cat will also die if you have to recall them back as well with your E, or else they will suicide. So unfortunately, me and Hyusei both die. However, we get Res Charm from our party, and phase continues again. So the boss is going to jump into the middle and do a 5 room-wide AoE attack. So you want to Frost Sheath that, or you want to 5-hit iframe it. So now you can see we're just going to attack the boss again. He's going to jump into the middle, cause the ring, and now the entire rotation resets. So right after he jumps into the middle and does the room-wide AoE, he's going to set his sights on someone. Again, he's going to set his sights on the furthest target. So you can see that Hyusei is already hiding behind the egg as the furthest target. So the boss is going to target him. And we're just going to rinse and repeat. So again, he sucks us in, we F-roll out, and you'll notice that we have the golden shield. So we've got the thing again. So you want to make sure that you're not standing around anyone, because when you jump, you will cause this AoE, and if it catches any of your teammates inside, they will be drunk. So I double check, I make sure that Ale is not close to me, and I'm going to jump now. So jump, boom, so I don't hit anyone, and we're good to go. So now we keep attacking. You could see over there that Husei was dancing around there. He was just making sure, looking at the boss, that if he could move yet or not, but he can't. We're waiting for this. Again, the Dark Tremor will be targeted towards the farm mark. So after the Dark Tremor, that is when the farm mark can move. So he finishes the Dark Tremor, and now you can see Husei is now coming out, and he's going to run towards us, and we're going to be doing the pushing phase once more. Pop, 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 pop. Again, he's going to do the room-wide roar, which we party stealth, and once more it's the pushing phase again. Keep in mind, right before the pushing phase, his CC bars will open. You need to stun there. I forgot to mention that. So once you finish stunning and you're back into the pushing phase, again, it's the same thing. For normal mode, it's always going to be the same pattern as long as you make sure that the farm mark stands at the 6 o'clock position, because then you just push him that way, then you push him that way, and then you push him into the egg. It's always going to be in this type of Z shape, and yeah, it's relatively easy. So pop, 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 pop. And this time I've learned my mistake. I'm not going to die. So I stand slightly further and I hit him across, and now I start running out. You can see that I barely make it. I legitimately just barely make it out there. So as a summoner or as a low mobility class, you might want to stand slightly further. So again, the boss is going to jump into the middle right after and do a shockwave. Please don't be like me and please jump over it. I'm just retarded and I get hit by it. And next he's going to do another 5-hit explosion, which we should have sheathed, but we don't have a sheath in this party. So we just kind of stealthed and took everything in the face. And there he does his spinny attacks again, and we just DPS him till he's dead. And voila. That's it for this boss. This boss is relatively easy compared to the first boss. The first boss has a lot more variables and it's a lot more mech heavy. This boss is not as difficult compared to the first one. It's really just DPS. As long as the tank and the farm mark know what they're doing, everyone else just kind of DPSs and kind of just make sure that they don't proc, they don't jump to cause everyone else to be drunk. You know, you just need to spread out and jump and you'll be fine. Again, this dungeon is relatively fun, relatively short, relatively good to spam, mainly because, you know, these gloves are really top notch for a lot of classes. But yeah, anyway, if this video helped, I would appreciate a subscribe. It really does help out my channel. And thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome?